pieces, feeling out every intention. I take every piece, try and fit it perfectly to find you, to find you. I'd walk the fire for you, I'd climb the ocean stairs to find you, to find you. I'd walk the fire for you, I'd climb the ocean stairs to find you, to find you.
Good evening, Otter fan. We are here on stream 2 for Imperial Gaming versus Oasis Maelstrom. It is a fine Wednesday night. I am Jeeves here with Arlan.
Well, what's up, guys? I am ready to cast some very interesting games. Jeeves, walk me through these teams.
So, Imperial Gaming, looking pretty strong. They won their week 1 match. They were just in Otter Talk, they were saying IG looks like the favorites here, but Oasis definitely not to be slept on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're both super strong teams. Imperial managed to take their game 2-1 last week, whereas Oasis managed to do it in a clean 2-0. So, they have both of those little intricacies about them, but we're going to get into the draft real quick, and it's starting off fast. Imperial Gaming taking out the TF, the Yumi, whereas Oasis Maelstrom taking out the more commonly seen picks in the Jinx and Zhao. I like all their bans. Imperial Gaming feels like they're targeting more players directly with this Jax bans especially, but
Yeah.
Oasis Maelstrom, they're taking things out of the meta that are super strong. The Senna, the Jinx, the Zhao. And that's very good. It means that they're able to play the meta style and they're able to counter it, and they're able to play around with it a little bit. So we're gonna have to see what Imperial Gaming first picks, and yeah, it's the Corki.
Yeah, sounds about right. I feel like since the beginning of preseason, Corky's been an absolute menace in mid lane, and nothing they've done has really changed that.
Yeah, it's just hard to beat. Corki is just one of those champions. Brand. I'm not quite so certain about Brand. It's a good flex support. Can go mid, but it looks like it will be going mid lane. So I'm not certain. This could be like a little secret technique that Oasis Maelstrom have been thinking up, putting the Brand into Corki. That one's leaving me a little bit scratching my head right there. It could work out. But Corki, like you said, dangerous pick since the start of preseason.
Yep.
It's hard to beat.
He does need some time to scale up. Needs 1.5 to maybe 2 items before the damage really starts pumping out. And Brand, I could see abusing that that like window of time where his damage is just really strong if he can land his combos, and his control in team fights with stuns, with the AoE dots. I a little bit wish they had held the flex longer instead of just diving right into the pike, but maybe it is a flex and I'm just small-minded.
Yeah, I mean, it's always opportunity for a flex, you know. Pike does, or did rather for a little bit, have pretty good win rate into Corki. You just pick the Pike and, you know, he can roam around, he can play the roam game. Doesn't have the lanes of the Corki, and that's where the Corki loses out because he doesn't play the roam game as well as Pike without package. Um,
True.
but yeah, with the Xayah, they're looking at a hard kill lane bot side, I think, with the Pike, the Xayah. But on the opposite side, Imperial Gaming has such a strong safe comp. They have the Sivir, they have the Soraka. They don't have to do anything, and they simply went out just through scaling. So it's really on the side of Oasis to get things going with their comp, because right now they're already on a timer with these first 3 picks.
Yeah, the siege and the wave clear is super strong for IG right now. That looks like a solid three player core if they wanted to go for a 1-3-1, if they wanted to go for like a 1-4 type split. Really, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'm for Imperial Gaming, I'm looking at a tank now, right? I'm looking for a Gragas top, something that can neutralize so many of these commonly seen Graves, you know, Gwyn even, you know, Camille as well. It can neutralize all these matchups and make them less effective. Especially with the Jax ban, you should be expecting Oasis to probably opt in for the Camille, so they have kind of a late game sort of scaler, but no, they're gonna pick the Vi. So what do you pick into this? Again, Gragas is good in Vi, but he can also go top. And then for your own jungle, you can pick damage, you can pick tankiness, you can pick the Graves. It's good at kiting out the Vi and can survive most of her damage. So they have a lot of options to play into this Vi. But of course, they're going to have to lose their top lane counter pick here.
I really like the Tryndamere ban here. I feel like it's telegraphed with the Shen and the Jax bans that they wanted to play a heavy auto attacker, and Tryndamere is the top laner for IG's most played champion so far this season. So I feel like that was just a really effective ban there.
Yeah, and with the Sejuani pick, they have to pick a melee here, right? They have to pick a melee auto attacker for the top side of the map. So more than likely, something like a Gwyn, maybe a Camille, Irelia, Fiora as well, Wukong, just to name a few. And it is looking like it's going to be that Gwyn. So, last second swap, Graves. Ugh, I don't know if I like that with the Sejuani. You know, it's kind of leaving Sejuani's passive out to lay when it's such a strong and effective tool for, you know, bursting down objectives, bursting down players, right? It feels a shame to just leave it, but, you know, again, Graves is such a strong pick in the current meta. It's kind of all right, and, you know, it fulfills all the compositional goals for IG. They have a strong 4-man comp, and then they just have Graves split pushing off in the side with Hullbreaker. So how do you counter that with the Oasis Maelstrom? You probably just go with the Janna top or something like that. Ooh, Irelia.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. So looking at, you know, Oasis's comp, they really want to start fighting early. They really want to spike around mid game, and they don't want to let Corki or Sivir scale, because if they scale, it's game over. That's just plain and simple. If they scale, if Gray scales, if any of their team scales, IG just wins this game hands down. Oasis really has to do something and get started early. Their only AP is the brand, so they're going to be lacking that pretty much across the board. Irelia needs resources, but Xayah and Pike are a bot lane that want to kill, right? So it's kind of all over the place for Oasis, whereas IG has a very simple, has a very standard, has a very, this is what you do, you know, it's point A, point B, point C, and you win the game, right? So we're looking at chaos versus order, and I'm really kind of eager to see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, with these 3 AD carries, Imperial is just going to absolutely melt turrets if they're left alone. I would like to see, at least early, a little bit of attention from Vi going top, because if Aurelia manages to get ahead, she can really just snowball and be impossible to manage. And so it feels like really whichever one of those two gets the early lead, whether it's Graves getting the Hullbreaker, Aurelia getting the shield bow first, that becomes a real problem.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's like it's all on the back of this Vi right now to make plays.
Yep.
It's all on the back of Vi, Pike making plays, you know, mostly around the top side of the map. On the other hand, Sejuani doesn't really have to do anything. She's just kind of chilling until she hits 6, and then she can start making plays, right? So don't expect to see the Sejuani do too much, but expect to see Vi ganking at 4, at 3, at 6, at 5. They just want to try and get themselves out there so they can, like I said, push the advantage in the early game that they do have. That's just they just have to do that, or else they lose the game. Quite frankly, that's just looking at it. It's just so difficult for them to play later into the game. It's just so difficult.
And they do have, I like each of the lanes set up for Vi, whether it's following up on a Vi Q or ult, or the laners getting a stun, whether it's Brand, Pyke, Xayah, Aurelia, and then Vi following up. They have good, like, 2 to 3 player combos that they can use. It's really, I want to see them execute.
Yeah. They have really good pick.
Yep.
Pyke is super good, at just finding out people when he's roaming. Vi loves to follow up or lock them down for the follow up. Xayah can survive pretty well on her own in a lane once she gets level 6, so it enables the Pyke to leave. Aurelia loves those small skirmishes, 2 to 3 people on each side. She loves those small like fights where she can get triple kills, double kills, and then go take a turret. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's how they want to be playing the game. On the opposite side, Brand doesn't really gel with that. He's just kind of there to keep their mid priority permanently, right? That's what Maelstrom wants the Brand to do. On the opposite side, they kind of don't have to opt into any of these fights if they don't want. Honestly, I expect them to give up the first 2 Drakes, the first Riptail, give them pretty much whatever Maelstrom wants, except for dives. You have to be ready to respond to counter ganks and dives. And as long as they do that, they never lose this game.
Yeah, exactly. I like what you were saying about the safety on Xayah, because especially into a Sivir Soraka lane, that's not like a hyper aggressive lane that's going to punish her. So I think you're absolutely spot on that Pyke's going to be roaming around the map, and I really like that. And it's definitely on IG to disengage, to play safe until their power spikes.
Absolutely. But with that, we will be taking it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. It is Imperial Gaming versus Oasis Maelstrom, Game 1 on your Blue Water League 2. Gosh. Yeah, I see what you mean by my camera being messed up. It's definitely not on my end. I didn't see any of those. I will. It's gonna be fun, dude. Yeah, this one's quite simply just yeah. I think it's a pretty hard one draft for Imperial right now. It's hard for Oasis to win it, but if they make it chaotic, they win it.
Yeah, they have to be really proactive and, like you said, chaotic.
I mean, if they can make it into, if they can turn into a gold game, then they win it. But if it stays at like competitive gold game, then they lose it.
Yeah.
So,
as someone who's been spamming Vi recently, that's very gold.
Just going over their names real quick, we can call Noble, Swaggy, Cybel, Paradigm, Rin, on the opposite side, Savior, Cassis? Is that how you pronounce it? Chaos, okay. Lost, Marion, and Edza.
Yeah, looks like that's what they were in Twitch chat. They're calling him Edza.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's a one-word name.
Very huge.
Sorry, did you say when?
I need to keep calm to attend to all the frustration I have inside my head. Tell me to go away again, I guess. We can all be warriors, assassinate the foe inside your mind. And over time, raise your voice, watch it cut through the end.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here back from break. We're all loaded into game for game one of IG versus Oasis Maelstrom.
Yes, we are, and just standard 5 point across the board, nothing too spectacular. But yeah, geez, we were talking before the break about what each team's, their win cons, right? Imperial Gaming, they need to play standard League of Legends. They need to just sit back, scale, let them try to force plays and respond to those plays, and they'll have a very easy time with this game. On the opposite side, Oasis Maelstrom, they need to be forcing things. They need to be making things happen. They need to install some sort of chaos into this game, right? That's where Vice shines. That's where Pike shines. That's what Irelia loves. And yeah, that's what each team is looking for, and that's what we're looking for as casters. A quick ward goes down from Noble, and that is a beautiful ward that gives them so much information and lets them know exactly where Vice starts. So the Sejuani can path in a safer manner than she normally would.
Yeah, them both starting bot side looks like they're looking to make their presence known in top lane as early as they can.
Absolutely, exactly what you said you wanted to see from the buy, and that just makes sense. Top lane is the most volatile role. Bot lane can be volatile, but it relies entirely on this Pike hitting his hooks, and if he gets skill checked early, it feels bad. it feels really, really bad. Yeah, just some light trading going back and forth there. Absolutely, not too much to talk about. Let's talk about runes. Let's talk about runes. Paradigm opting for the Dark Harvest. What do you think about that one?
That seems like a full lethality Sivir got come. Yeah, I still remember the old days of her going just like you scale up and 3 items in, Sivir becomes just unstoppable. But gone are those days.
Oh, if only they were back, 300 farm Sivir, and then you could finally do something. Now she's skilled and spikes at 2. That's a good hook
A
that
nice
lands on the
pullback on
land.
Soraka.
Stun doesn't
Flash out. Now Pike's in a bad situation. He's running up the river. Sivir's chasing. Q went through. They're waiting on cooldowns. Flash in from Sivir. The autos come through. The double Qs, and Soraka gets the kill.
But the top side, there's already action. Savior forcing to run away there. Very, very nicely done from them. They managed to get out without using their flash, but on the opposite side, no flash of their bone. But super huge play from them on the bot lane. It sucks so much that Rin got the kill, but it still feels very nice that, they got the kill early, and they're already up, that 400 extra gold.
Yeah, you don't think of the Sivir Soraka as making it happen in the early game like that. But super well played, just catching Pike in a bad place.
Yeah, trying to force something with the level 2 advantage the Pike didn't hit the flash stun. Not quite sure what happened there, just barely missed it, and it just feels bad. But again, this pressure that the brand is exuding over the Corki. That's probably why people pick him into the Corki. He just has so much priority in the mid lane that you can pretty much do whatever you want around that lane. You don't have to worry about the Corki grouping. Brand just has the priority, has the pressure, and allows you to do anything you realistically want. Swaggy Pete going in for a little bit of an invade here. Maybe a quick gank on the Lost as he lands a stun.
Oh, Brand gets the stun. He's running down the river. Swaggy goes in, gets the Q, but misses the W. Brand is kiting. He goes into the bush, but there's just way too much CC coming out of the Sejuani.
That hurt. You hate to see it. Right there, Swaggy flashing in. He missed the Q, it looked like, but then Lost flashes directly into the Q. So it turns out to be one of those, well, I missed, but I didn't really miss type of deals. So very well played from Swaggy, very well played from Imperial, and now they're just honestly chilling in this game. And we're going to have to wait till level 6s come out to really see some action from the side of Oasis.
Not see who got the grump on that. Based on emotes, I'm going to guess Vi managed to take that, even though Soraka and Sejuani were there. All right, there's a stun out of Brand. Vi goes in with the face breaker, and the combo is at a lost time.
Very nice. Very nice flash from the Vi as well. And with that, they get to pick up the Drake. That's a huge boost back to their economy. That's a lot of value that they're never going to be able to, purchase on the map, right? Like, the Hextech Drake just gives you so many stats that you can never otherwise buy. and it gives them, you know, it gives them enough of a boost. Like they want to be prioritizing these drakes as much as possible. Without those drakes, they're going to be losing stats that just is going to the scaling team otherwise, and you want to not let them scale as much as possible. And if that means fighting for every single drake like it's Baron, it means fighting for every single drake like it's Baron.
Yeah, the early Hextech Drake for especially this Oasis team that wants to be scrappy is going to be really huge. That's they couldn't have picked a better first Drake.
Exactly. I think the only better first drake would be maybe a mountain drake. That would feel pretty nice for the less tanky members of the team. But either way, you're absolutely right. It's a wonderful drake for them to pick up. So yeah, with man, it sucks to play Pike in this scenario because you can't really roam. Your your ADC is too low level to roam. You don't have enough damage right now to really roam. So you just have to keep fishing for hooks in lane. And with the amount of pressure that Soraka Sivir bring, it's pretty impossible to do things for this Pike. So yeah, we're really looking at the Vi to make things happen in other lanes. It's all on the backs of KS here.
Sejuani's waiting in here. Oh, Pike misses the hook and they have to flash away from the Sejuani right away.
Yeah, that hurts so much for Marion. Granted, he's a Saya. He'll get his ultimate. He'll be safe again on the turret. But it hurts so much to lose your flash in that manner. Not properly checking their bushes, properly checking their corners, dotting their P's, crossing their eyes. And yeah, it's just right now about 1,000 gold over to the side of Imperial.
Yeah, that was nice patient play out of Swaggy, leaving Rin as the level 3 Soraka just dangling as bait. It's just too juicy.
Absolutely, but Rin has been very very good at skill checking the Pike here, dodging his hooks by the hair's breadth or getting hit by them, in some cases, and baiting it out to a kill. So, Rin knows their limits on this champion, and it's just a good sight to see, watching someone with experience on their champion. But yeah, now that Cybo in the mid lane has level 6, he can actually contest the push that comes out from Brand. Now we're just looking at level 6s from the junglers to make things happen. Vi finally hitting her level 6. Sejuani missing out on hers, a little bit too gank heavy, not so much in the farm department, but with all the camps up on the top side, expect that to equalize real quickly.
She's about 30% towards level 6. Like Vi and Aurelion, they're going for an invading. He's just a catch.
Absolutely looking for a little bit of an invade on the top side, but yep, the Cyber rolling up. Oh,
nice. Nice dodge by the Corki.
Absolutely beautiful dodge. And like I said, they don't have to do anything. They just have to protect their Sejuani while she's super vulnerable, while she's looking for that level 6. And once she hits the level 6 power spike, they can start making a lot more aggressive plays. Granted though, they are the ones who have been able to get the ganks out, and it feels super nice. But without the level 6, they're just not guaranteed plays. With the level 6, they're pretty certain that if any one of these people get hit by a stun in the early game, they're dead on sight.
Trying to make her presence known in town. It's just going to clear the back end, likely.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to highlight, as Sejuani and Vi meet each other in the topside jungle, Vi gets over the wall there. But one thing I just want to highlight is the vision. The vision is super nice from the side of Oasis Maelstrom. It's reactive to the state of the game. Savior realizes that he's playing weak side top, that he's not expected to get too much in the way of jungle presence, so he places the control ward in, a relatively safe spot, right, in that tri-bush. A lot of people just place, wards there blindly, and they don't really expect to get too much out of them. You'll see a ward like that go the entire game without getting picked off, right? But putting it there, he just recognizes his state in the game and what he needs to do at this point in the game, and it's really nice to see. They know that they're going to be focusing more on the spot side with trying to collect every single Drake before 20 minutes.
Yeah, speaking of Drakes, we've got an Ocean Dragon coming up in 25-ish seconds. So something's gonna happen. We're looking at time to fight soon.
Absolutely, that is the time to fight. Unfortunately, with the recent Corki nerfs, I don't think he has package available just yet. Yeah. Okay, he does have package now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he has package now.
picking
They
it up.
can be looking to fight that. And look at that, the Graves teleport already coming down. They're already looking to set up for this fight. And with Irelia teleport being down as well, it's gonna be a 4v5. So it's not gonna be the freest shake in the world. So they have to run away, right?
Sivir ults to dodge the Sejuani ult, but it's still creating huge zone. Now Sejuani's in the middle of the whole team. Corki packages in right on top of Marion and blows up the Xayah. Now flash in from Sivir and Edza gets taken out.
Just like that, with a few key abilities used in the right order, it's a one fight. That was absolutely beautiful from Paradigm and Squad. Popping the Sivir ult to get them in range faster, throwing out the ultimate to bait out Xayah, ultimate of their own, going in on Edza there, and Corki package over the top, pushing so much damage into everybody on the squad. It was just absolutely beautiful layering of CC, of combos, of abilities in the right order, and it just allowed them to pick up, honestly, a really free fight and a really free Drake. Yeah, 2,000 gold up. Yeah, about 1,000 or so in the favor of Imperial Gaming. Oh, that's the Rip Hill going down. Vi picks that one up, and they're looking to be dropping that in the top lane and probably move this Irelia around the map. Try to get, she's the only one with a CS advantage in her lane, so probably looking to use her more aggressively.
Yeah, she managed to get 3 plates solo during that whole time, and I kind of question Oasis going for the fight while Savior was still in top as soon as Graves went missing. But they did get gold out of that, and Aurelia's got a sizable lead, so they're not in a bad place, but that fight could have been much more disastrous than it was.
Absolutely, yeah, Aurelia about 1,200 gold above their opponent. No assist, so it looks rough, but it is a fine thing for this Irelia. Now they probably back, grab their Blade the Rune King, start looking to move around the map, look to get some more plates on this Irelia, start using the advantage that she can bring to fights, to these early skirmishes that they desperately need on the side of Oasis Maelstrom. As they're missing another hook. Unfortunate stuff right there. Cybolt picking up another blue buff. This time, not even his own blue buff. Taking Vi's blue buff there. So it feels bad to be Vi getting your in jungle raided here. But now, as we get further and further into this game, only about 500 gold difference between the two teams. What are you looking at? What do you want Oasis Maelstrom to do?
Pretty much exactly what we're seeing now, with Pyke showing up in the mid lane, trying to make his presence known, because the bot lane of Sivir and Soraka have really neutralized his impact. The 2v2 hasn't been able to get the aggressive plays going, so roaming around the map, trying to get this brand ahead is I think the best move they can.
I think you're absolutely right. They want to try and do something anywhere at all. It sucks right now because they have this go button comp, they have this pick comp, and they're just not able to utilize their picks well at all. They might, have an opportunity with Paradigm Shift being alone in the bot lane. So many people, their pings are coming out, and I think this is going to be the opportunity that they have here.
3 people coming in. There's Vi charging the Facebreaker. His spell shield comes out, but the ult goes through. She heals for the speed and presses R. Soraka ult comes through, but Pyke gets the execute with the ult.
Ooh, and Cybolt being forced to flash in the mid lane. That hurts right there. Irelia almost getting the solo kill. It feels good. It feels really, really good to be Imperial Gaming. This is just, even with those lost plays in the mid lane and in the bot lane, you still feel like you're in control of the map because, now everyone is just hitting mythic items, hitting first items, both Corki and Sivir opting for the Manamune build, both just now hitting Manamune. Even with that kill that Pyke manages to pick up, doubled the team's gold, I still feel like I'm well in control of this game, and it's them who has to keep making these sort of plays that push their lead ahead.
Interesting choice by Graves rushing the Eclipse. It makes just a ton of sense in traditional items and whatnot, but with how the current meta is, but there's a fight coming in before I can finish that. Sejuani flashes away, but there's a big collapse coming in, and Pyke gets taken out by Cybolt. Now Graves is coming in, gets the slow on Brand, and they're walking away with Pyke the only casualty.
Oh man, oh man. They tried to do something like we said, but they just didn't have the damage to punch through the Sejuani, super tanking this early game with her passive, granting her extra stats. It's hard to beat her down when she has those stats, especially when she rushed, you know, not sword boots. What are they called? Our
Plated
tabbies.
steel caps.
I refuse to use that name. Tabbies. So yeah, especially when she rushes plays steel caps, it's rough to punch through all that, and even with Vi's passive reducing armor by a little bit, it's just not enough. So yeah, another kill picked up for them, and this Drake spawning in 5 seconds again. They're bringing down the Graves, they're bringing down players, making it a 5v4 and looking to really contest this Drake, stop the Drake stacking that Oasis Maelstrom wants to start out.
Vi has to go away, but now Pyke's getting caught. The difference here, Aurelia channeling her
Aurelia.
teleport. That is a deep, deep teleport. She gets knocked up by the Sejuani. She's in the back. Cybele, in the meantime, is left in the middle and gets taken out by Aurelia. 3 people swarm on the Sejuani, take her out. And now, is that Pyke? Yeah, Pyke's trying to 2v1 the Graves and the Sivir, but he goes down in the end.
Uh-oh, looks like Noble's gonna get taken out.
Quite
Although
yet.
he's dodging everything.
Flashes over, gets the auto attack to finish off Caius.
Yeah, but look at Paradigm Sip, he's so low. What are you doing there? You can't be there, buddy. Barely managed to get some movement speed and walk out, but no, he walks back in. What are you
Q's
doing?
in, gets 2 autos to finish off the Sivir.
Oh man, I can tell you exactly where that fight went wrong, right? The first thing first is that they didn't immediately turn to kill Savior. They let Savior flash out with just an exhaust on him, and then they devoted Swaggy P and Cybele, just to try to get, take out that Irelia while everybody else went and pushed forward through the team. It's a chaotic fight, and they can't be playing fights chaotic. They have to be playing fights in a controlled manner. Let your Sejuani go in first, everyone else follow up on Sejuani's target and take them out one by one, right? That works well for them. That's what's been working out. That's how they won the last fight. This fight, too chaotic. They let Oasis play their game. They let them break up the fight into 2 or 3 little skirmishes, little 1v1s basically. And yeah, just super hard one fight for this side of Oasis. If they can keep this up, I can see them winning this game.
Corki and Brand are alone in bot lane, and Corki has packet, so Brand's playing with fire a little bit.
Unironically playing with fire there, and Sejuani picks up the Rift-Tailed on the other side of the map, so they have that little gold advantage generating machine for them to look at. And yeah, Cybele just launching rocket after rocket after rocket after a long time, and he's gotta back eventually. He has to realize that Corki has package. This isn't a good place for you to be, my friend.
The package comes out to farm, though. Playing it safe. I get it.
That makes sense. Look at lost times. He's just trying to do what he can. He's just trying to survive in this Corki biz. Now Brand is that early game counter. He's not that late game counter. He cannot match the Corki as we go further into the game. Although a great
nice pull back on Soraka into the Vi ult. Zai is throwing out the damage, and Caius gets the kill on Rin.
Yeah, that's why you pick those 2 together. They're so good together. The pull back into the ultimate immediately, Pyke ultimate afterwards. It didn't quite hit, so they didn't get the double boost in gold. But either way, super well played, super nice layering of abilities, and yeah, now they're able to stall the advance of Imperial Gaming for at least a little bit. Only 1,000, roughly 2,000 gold between the 2 teams. So yeah, not too much to write home about. This game has been very, very close all game long.
But it is 2,000 in the favor of Oasis. I feel like IG has been in the lead for a lot of it, but these scrappy fights that came out, they've allowed Oasis to take a lead.
It has. Those fights, they're just not in the favor of Imperial. They don't have to take those fights. They just need to play safe until everyone has 2 items and they just win the game, quite frankly. Like, Graves is not going the traditionally seen hole breaker build. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, those nerfs haven't come out for it. Has they? I think those come out next match.
Yeah, I think that's a week from now.
Yeah. So Graves still has the opportunity to go, Eclipse Hullbreaker here and just be pretty unkillable in the side lane, and it's so hard for Irelia to deal with it, especially if you're going to go the crit Irelia build, which is not that great into the Hullbreaker. The Hullbreaker is just able to soak up so much of that damage, and Irelia just finds it so hard to deal with. But, you know, even with this build, he can still make things happen. He just takes, you know, 3 items to scale, whereas if he had Hullbreaker, he scales with the first 2.
Irelia, by the way, Savior's trying to live up to the name, sitting on 2 completed items with Orc and Shield Bow. I don't know if anyone can match them in a side lane right now. Maybe Corki.
I don't even think Corki can match them because, you know, Irelia just has so many ways to get on top of the Corki, and it's, yeah, he has to use his flash every single time he goes into this Irelia. If she decides to, you know what, you're dead. Realistically, right?
Duh.
So yeah, with this Drake spawning in 30 seconds, I'm eager to see if they bring down the Corki teleport. He just used package in the side lane. He doesn't have it for this fight. It's not synced with the dragon timer, so it's really, really rough for him to show up for this fight, but they can definitely make it work.
Corki has started hoofing it down from top lane. We've got
Look at Marion.
Marion Cross getting chunked out before the fight even starts. A nice stun from Lost Times, and Sejuani gets Vi ulted. She gets knocked back. There's the Soraka ult. Pike goes for the stun.
And no one
Looks like we're getting disengages.
No one dies. Although Noble flashes in
from the graves. Gets the Eclipse Shield, gets rooted by the Zions. Ignite out from Pike.
That's honestly impressive. The fact no one died right there. They're just using so many abilities, so many ultimates, one after the other, flashing in, trying to make these hero plays, and yet they just aren't landing the critical abilities in the critical order that lets them get a kill, and it's just back and forth from each team. So yeah, it's kind of neutral at this point, you know, with Imperial picking up that second Cloud Drake. It's not an important Cloud Soul coming out for either team. I'd say it benefits mostly the Sivir, but that's about it. Nobody else really feels emboldened by it. But yeah, Imperial Gaming, you know, taking a tower in the mid lane, that opens up so much of the map. They can take bot or top now and start looking to pressure this Baron. It's a feels good situation for them.
Yeah, that pretty much went as well for IG as you could have asked for. Maybe they could have wanted a couple kills, obviously, but dropping that second Herald to break the outer mid turret, getting the dragon, so Soul is, let's be honest, probably not going to be a thing. Being 2-2 in Drakes usually, most likely we're not looking at a 40+ minute game here. So Soul is unlikely.
It's unlikely, but you know, it's still an opportunity. Like so many things in this game, it's honestly still anyone's game. But like I said, I still feel like Oasis is on that timer. They still have so many things to worry about. They need to try to use the strength of their comp as they look for a play mid.
Vi gets silenced by the Sivir, who then spell shields and flashes the Vial. That looked really wonky.
That looks pretty interesting. Ezza just barely dodging the ultimate. So yeah, they're using ultimates back and forth, and just nothing comes of it. Each team is just too reactive, too understanding of what the other team wants to do. And it's just working out for them quite well on both sides, so they're just able to keep farming, able to keep scaling, and able to keep looking for these plays.
Side lanes aren't going super well. My camera shifted to Brand and Corki, and Brand, when there's a minion wave there, the poke is kind of even, but then Corki just demolishes the wave, and the rockets are really hurting now with Luden's completed, Muramana evolved, and the Tiamat coming out. We should be getting a Ravenous Hydra.
Yeah, right there. Corki is just flexing the advantage of just being a better champion in the meta, quite frankly. In the brand. So he's just able to do this in the side lane, and you can't match the Corki with the brand, quite frankly. I think the brand is better into the Graves. He does better into the Graves. And Irelia is just so good into Corki. I think it's kind of indispensable and kind of a little bit silly that you don't swap them here, right? Like you want the Irelia into the Corki. It's so much easier for Irelia, and it's so much easier for the brand to go into the Graves. So yeah, Imperial Gaming assigning their lanes correctly and playing through them correctly. Yeah, but honestly, only 400 gold separating these two teams. You know, this is where things get interesting. We're heading into the mid game. I expect to start to see some action in about a minute 45 thereabouts. That's when the next Drake spawns. So yeah, that's when all the action has been happening anyway, right? Like they don't fight, and I respect that. That's like a LPL thing, right? They just don't fight before the Drake comes up, before an objective's there. Although
Vi catches the Sejuani, but
nothing comes of
yeah,
it.
not enough vision in the river. So Oasis didn't want to dive into a fight they didn't know how many people were there for.
Absolutely respectable. And yeah. As it walks up close
Pike
range,
gets
I don't think you can be doing that, my man.
Oh, the damage out of Sivir with these two items, Duskblade and Muramana completed.
Yeah,
just
and she
shredded.
has Last Whisper, so she does quite a fair chunk of damage, forcing out Lost Time's flash there. And yeah, they're just losing flashes, losing vision, losing ground up 40 seconds before the Drake spawns. And it's like, what are you guys doing? You guys can't be doing that. That's just not... You can't play the game so passively, you know, before the Drake spawns by 3 minutes, and then by a minute before the Drake spawns, you just start inking it, quite frankly. So yeah, it's a rough side, rough look for Oasis Maelstrom right now.
Got Corki coming out of base with package just in time. 20 seconds or so till this dragon spawns. Just all the vision is blue.
Absolutely, and yeah, honestly, it's on the back of the Irelia to try and do something. Cybele gets hooked in, forced to use the package out, and I'm looking at Savior. I'm looking at him to be the savior of this game, trying to do something with the ultimate, with the flash, E combos, do anything, and try to force something.
Damage out of Corki there.
Corki's just not letting that happen, is he? Poking so much in the Sivir poke as well. It's so very hard for him to play this game. Oh my god, Marion is almost dead.
Oh god. There's the Sejuani ult. Irelia gets stunned up. She gets the stun, but gets taken out by Cybele. Now there's another stun on Sejuani, and Oasis is in hard retreat. Marion got killed off to the side. Brand is in there. Lost Times is lost off to the side of the turret. That's a free Drake.
That's absolutely free Drake. Honestly, that's free Baron. This is their call to make, but I think this is just Baron. You push mid out, and once you take this Drake, yep, that's what Cybele's going to do, and they just walk straight to the Baron, and they cannot contest it, even with Vi being up. If she tries to go for it, she suicides, right? It's, oh man, 3 items on the Corki, almost 3 items on the Sivir, and it's just a lost game. They let the game go on too long. They played it too passively. Oasis needs to go back to the drawing board. And they need to be looking at how to better craft a comp to deal with Imperial's, you know, standard meta League of Legends. Oh my god!
The rockets out of Corki, that just did at least a third, if not half, of Pike's health.
More than half. That was absolutely disgusting, the damage coming out, man.
Alright, Vi's looking like she's going for the YOLO. Oh, that was super close. But Swaggy Pete gets it.
Swaggy Pete very on point with his smites for today. And yeah, even with their top lane turret falling, it doesn't matter. They got Baron, and now they can really put what their comp is known for, right? They won 4. Graves goes top or bot. They poke him out with the Corki Sivir. Sejuani looks for an engage on an easy half-dead target. And it's just GG. It's all she wrote from here on out. You know, what if I'm Oasis Maelstrom? What am I looking to do? Well, I'm looking to do anything. Honestly, this game came down to the fact that they just weren't ready to risk anything. They didn't try to really look for plays. They didn't really use the Pike to its full advantage. They didn't use the gap close and lockdown of the Vi to its full advantage. And it's just Cybele in a shooting gallery right here looking.
Cybele just
on last time.
Lost Times looking for this fancy feat, but Cybele is just way too huge.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, what am I looking to do? I'm looking to kill Cybele here on the side, but can't even do that. So you gotta look for another play elsewhere. And Graves
is teleporting in behind Caius. Corki's dodging in between bushes, and now Caius is desperately running for their life. dashes out into Tribush. Meanwhile, there's a just full-on siege with the three-man stack from IG.
Absolutely. And look at Caius run for the hills, but they see him. They're going to corner him. You know, Swaggy P gets hooked in. It doesn't even matter. And poor Caius is just running, man. He's been running for his entire life, it looks like. And I don't
Gets
think
over
it
the wall.
matters.
Gets the exhaust out of Soraka.
Ooh, he might
I mean,
escape.
IG is just taking turrets while this all is happening. So
Yeah, they
can't
don't
complain.
really care. They don't really care. And I respect that. Uh-oh, Caius finally getting
Oh.
caught out by Paradigm Shift.
Flash in from Paradigm, the auto, and Noble finally gets the kill.
And on the
Made
opposite
it
side
all
of
the
the
way
map,
across the map.
yeah. On the opposite side of the map, Pike does draw to the Corki there, and it is just disaster for the side of Oasis Maelstrom. Nothing they
Andrani,
can do.
oh, Graves dives in, and yeah,
Ah,
there goes Aurelia, there goes an inhib. I suspect this is game.
it has to be. They have too much of a gold advantage. They managed to explode the game wide open from that first, that last Drake fight. They just exploded the game wide open. About 9k difference, and it will be the GGs coming out. It will be the Nexus dropping, and that will be Swaggy P and squad going up 1-0. Oh, Jeeves. I don't even know what to say about that game. It was just Oasis Maelstrom drafting, an aggressive all-in style of comp, and then just playing a slow, reserved LCK-esque style of League of Legends, and they just don't mesh together. They just didn't work out, and we saw that quite clearly.
It felt like such a close game. And it was like within 1,000 gold until that one dragon fight, and then it just the whole thing ended from there.
Quite
I
frankly.
I feel like the aggressive game plan they were looking for kind of fell on its face when Pike died at level 2. That's
Mhm.
kind of where things started going wrong, and they had to spend summoners and just any aggressive momentum they had. And Swaggy P made their presence known in bot lane, covered a lot of the aggressive plays they tried to make. And
Mhm.
so just yeah, the aggressive game plan that Oasis needed to capitalize on just never had a chance to get started.
Absolutely. So now, what am I looking for going into game two? Um, I'm looking for Oasis to shake things up. If they're gonna do an aggressive style of comp, actually use it this time. If they're not gonna do an aggressive style of comp, if they want to play the scaling game, then draft for the scaling game. Try to draft to scale with the Corki, to draft and scale for the Sivir. They have blue side this time, so they have those power picks in hand. They have the Corki, they have the Jinx, they have, Zeri, a super strong power pick. Even though she was gutted, I feel like those guts were aimed more at a high level than it is at a lower level. So she's
Yep.
very effective at those 3-item power spikes. So yeah, that's what they need to be looking at for Maelstrom once they get blue side this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see one of those really interesting targeted bans that IG used on blue side maybe
Mhm.
come out when IG gets forced to ban something more straightforward meta on red side from their draft. I think TF would be a really exciting pick and
Ooh, yeah.
really opens up the map. Yumi does really interesting things. I don't know about a Jax pick. After I'm the Savior didn't really end up making their presence known on the map that much. On the Aurelia, I feel like that's a more versatile champ than Jax. Um, and so I
Uh,
kind of really want to see more out of them,
yeah.
especially.
Yeah, Irelia definitely is versatile, but she's very gated by the build, right? If you build her for
Yep.
that split push, like you saw, you have to make your presence known in the split push, and he just didn't. He was too cautious. He was too scared to really go all in. So if he does go for Jax, um, Jax can build for team fight. Jax can build for the split push. So if you build for the split push, do it this time. If you build for the team fight, look to team fight like you were doing on the Irelia.
If you're Oasis, do you look to ban out something about this IG comp that they just played? Do you ban the Soraka? Do you ban the do you ban the Graves?
Honestly, I'm looking to ban, the Grays. I'm looking to ban the yeah, I'm just looking to ban the Grays and the Soraka, maybe. I don't even think the Soraka was too big a part of it. I think feel like it was the Grays and the Corki. And if you're blue side, you just first pick the Corki, right? Unless you can't play it, and in which case you ban out the Corki as well as the Graves. Uh, yeah, it was honestly just a really well crafted comp, and there were no real like this is what we have to get rid of because it's kind of the whole comp is what you have to learn to play around, and your comp just wasn't built to deal with it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
so yeah,
exactly.
it's honestly more on the side of is their drafting up to par on this one? That's where it comes down to. They have to recognize what their opponents are going for, and they have to draft to match it or to succeed it and look for even stronger draft somewhere else.
A little worried we're gonna get two poke comps against each other.
Oh man, I don't know about that one. I really hope not. I really don't want to see Zareth Corki or Azir Corki again. You know, all the way back, and I don't remember what season the Azir Corgi was a few seasons ago. I think at least two. Don't want to see it again. But with that, we will take it to a very, very quick break. Don't go anywhere. Imperial Gaming is up 1-0 versus Oasis Maelstrom.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore.
Welcome back, Otter fans. We are here for Game 2 of Imperial Gaming versus Oasis Maelstrom. We're loading into draft shortly. I'm Jeeves here with Arlen.
Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, loading in a draft, and we already see the bans coming out of Oasis Maelstrom. You know, like I said, taking out the Grays, taking out the Quirky, despite being blue side. Imperial Gaming, again, keeping it steady, taking out the Yumi, taking out the TF, and taking out the Jax. Oasis Maelstrom first picking the Jinx, so I expect to see, you know, their ADC do a little bit more in this game, be a little bit more aggressive, and scale a lot harder than, you know, the Xayah ever could hope to, right? What does Imperial counterpick that with? Well, you have a few options. It's more on the side of supports to counterpick the Jinx and really make her life hard to play. So maybe just take away the Lulu and draft something that's good with the Lulu, right? Oh no, they're gonna pick up the Mumu. Not bad. They're looking for maybe another wombo combo, kind of press R and let everything work itself out kind of combo.
They had hovered the Amumu for a bit on the last pick last game, but they did a lot of hovering in that, so I didn't take too much stock. But I thought for a second that they had locked it. And they've got Senna as well, who was also a first game ban.
Yeah, Senna coming through, and you know, it's more than likely Senna support with the recent changes to the soul drop rate. It's pretty bad right now, so you kind of have to play her in the support role. So it might even be a Mumu, farming a Mumu bot side. Not more than likely not going to see it because also the nerfs hit him pretty hard, and his buffs aren't significant enough. So more than likely maybe a Tom Kinch coming out. Farming Pantheon is always an option if they want a little bit damage heavy, a little bit damage in the bot lane.
You know if Tom Kench is allowed? Because last I heard there was a
Bug with him,
fairly crazy bug with Senna and Tom Kench right now, so I don't know if the league has issued a ruling on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either. So we'll have to see. You know, another one that's really good, I find, in my opinion, is the Gragas Senna as well. So if it's not Tom Kinch, you know, someone tanky who likes to get items under his belt. But yeah, that's going to be the Trinier coming out in response to the Trundle. So what do you?
A lot of formerly banned champions coming out in this lobby. The Trundle got banned game 1, the Tryndamere, the Senna got banned game 1. I guess Imperial really wanted to run the Tryndamere. That was second round ban, and you want to believe that champ can be countered, but the two biggest counters probably Jax and Shen in top lane at least, with their ability to nullify auto attacks. Those getting banned right off the bat.
You say that, but I find, and what the pros have found to be a super effective counterpick into the Tryndamere, besides, you know, the Malphite, he just builds armor and then just keeps him CC for 3 years, is in fact the Gragas, right? You just pick Gragas into him and he's completely nullified. And in fact, he loses that matchup before level 6. It's so hard for him to play that matchup when Gragas just body slams him away, E's him, Q's him, and body slams him, Q's, W's him, and walks away with a one trade, especially if he takes the grass proc. So yeah, I find Gragas to be a super solid pick here. Maybe we'll say it, maybe not, but that's going to be the Thresh. That will be a Mumu in the jungle and not, you know, a farming Senna looking to pick up her souls with about a 2.8% drop rate or something super astronomically low like that. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So what do you
do like that bot lane a lot. I think Jinx Leona is super strong, but Senna, Thresh, it's a safer lane, I feel like, that can just kind of scale up and wait for Senna to be able to do her thing.
Interesting. Morgana. Now is that a Morgana jungle? Because, you know, Trundle and Morgana can both be flexing in jungle or top lane or mid lane. So they have a little bit of flexibility. This pick will decide it all from Oasis here. And I find that interesting. I don't know about picking Morgana here in mid or jungle. Yeah, that will be...
Okay. So Renekton is at least a non-ambiguous pick for the most part. Yeah. I think, well, okay, so I've seen Renekton mid lane, but I think that's very matchup specific. I think Renekton could be good mid if it's a Tryndamere mid, but I suspect it's not Tryndamere mid we're looking at. So I'm guessing, yeah, that's a Morgana mid.
Yeah, that's interesting. Picking the Morgana here. I don't think that's what you want from the side of Oasis, right? You would much rather have just a blind pick Syndra you know, a blind pick Vex. Even the Vygar, super strong in the current meta. His buffs have been absolutely insane, absolutely massive. I think, and
Yep.
I know for a fact that it will be insane into Tryndamere. Like, how does Tryndamere play the game? How does Senna step up through the cage to auto? Amumu can't get through the cage. Rise is a close range, relatively close range mage. I think Morgana or sub Morgana out for the Vygar, and you have a winning team comp for the side of Oasis Maelstrom. But with the Morgana, it's making their comp a lot harder to play.
That might just be pure comfort. Yeah, that's a really interesting pick here. It's if she gets ahead, she can kind of AFK push the wave and roam. But they didn't manage to pull off that sort of gameplay and game where Brand would have been able to push early and roam. They didn't do much roaming in general.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to see that. That's kind of what I need Maelstrom to do this game, is have that Morgana roam and enable the Renekton, because those ganks are absolutely brained. Renekton presses W, Morgana comes in with the follow-up Q, and Tryndamere just can't move anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. The ganks are brain dead, but the thing that they have to consider is the fact that Rise has a long range teleport and Morgana doesn't. So even if the
True.
Morgana starts walking up there and the Rise notices it and falls like a, you know, so 5 seconds behind, that's more than enough time for him to get his realm warp up there and start dealing damage in return, maybe even get 2 kills back if Tryndamere does drop early. So yeah, you're right. They do need to roam. They do need to look for plays, but on the opposite side of the map, on the bot side of the map, they just need to scale, because Jinx does generally outscale Senna until Senna reaches about 150 souls thereabouts.
Okay.
So, you know, it's going to be a while for the Senna, especially if she's farming, to reach that raking point of where she outskills the Jinx, especially if the Jinx is building the Gale Force or the Kraken Slayer. I think it's a Gale Force angle here. You really want to stay out of range of Amumu, out of range of Thresh, and out of range of the Rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
And
I mean, once again, stop me if you've heard this before, but Oasis kind of needs to get it done early, and Imperial just needs to play their game.
yeah, they have a few late game tools. Like I said, they have the Jinx. They have, actually, that's about it. It's just the Jinx that's a really late game style of champion. Morgana can kind of play towards that late game, but generally when she's seen in the mid lane, she's a very supportive mid laner. So honestly, for the side of Imperial, just build tabbies and you're sitting pretty. Jinx is their only real late game threat. Everyone else is a really early to mid game threat. And once you get rid of them, they are non-existent factors. So yeah, Imperial just have to scale again. Oasis Maelstrom, they have to get stuff done early.
The big player I want to see something out of for Oasis is Caius on this Trundle. The Trundle versus Amumu matchup should be really free. Like, unless there's collapses coming in from the lanes, like, Amumu just can't fight Trundle. It doesn't work early game, and it doesn't super work after 6. So I really need this Trundle to show up and run the map.
You're absolutely right about that. Like I said, it's another one of those things about drafting that they really kind of drafted themselves into a corner, looking for counter picks, and not properly crossing their T's and dotting their I's. You know, the Morgana and the Trundle feel relatively rough. The Renekton can be fine, but the Morgana and Trundle feel really kind of rough into this comp. If you just drafted for the late game, Oasis Maelstrom doesn't feel like they're on a timer, doesn't feel like they're on a ticking time bomb, and they can play their slow style League of Legends that they were showing to be having played, right? They love to play slow and they love to match the side lanes for Imperial Gaming, but Imperial Gaming just had a better comp for it. So yeah, that's all they're looking at for the side of Oasis, and Imperial Gaming. Just scale. just
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
pretty, hit the wave and scale. You don't have to do anything. But if you do something, make sure you do it right. And with that, we will be taking into a quick break. Don't go anywhere. It is Imperial Gaming up 1-0 versus Oasis Maelstrom over here at Blue Otter League number 2. Don't go anywhere.
see who I'll be. But these passing moments always fly in front of me. When we become a part of a world we have never explored, and you find someone and start to believe everything you know. I wanna live for the moment. I wanna bend before I break. Stop to the ground, but I feel it. 'Cause you're gonna shook like an earthquake.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here back from break, loaded into game 2 of IG versus Oasis Maelstrom.
And it's
Seems
Oasis.
like everyone.
Oh, my fault, Jeeves. But it seems like Oasis Maelstrom, they are the ones with their back against the wall here, right? They have to win this game. But again, they drafted themselves on a clock, on a timer, against the scaling team comp. They have to get things done. Last time, we just didn't see that get things done attitude come up from them. This time, we might, Lost Times opting to take Dark Harvest and Exhaust on the Morgana mid. Whereas, everyone else, it looks like pretty standard runes and masteries across the board, except for maybe Leona opting to take Aftershock instead of the more commonly seen Glacial Augment.
I like the Conqueror out of a Mumu. I
Yes.
think that means we're gonna see. He's also got some of the adaptive power in the rune page.
Mhm.
So I wonder if that means we're gonna see some AP out of that mummy.
That would be very interesting. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It gives him some staying power in fights. A little bit of healing goes a long way, right? Especially when your only healing source is going to be the Senna. But yeah, Amumu opting to start the chickens here, opting to start Raptors. Instead of taking his top side, he's going to start pathing down towards the bot side almost immediately. So that means Cassis and Swaggy will be on opposite tracks here. That means they will have different focuses, and I think that's very interesting the way the Amumu is playing this early laning phase.
Yeah, the other interesting start was the bot lane. Senna and Thresh, or Senna specifically, Thresh was hiding in the river, but Senna pulled the minion wave really far forward. So it was in an aggressive position, and now you see the big caster minion wave pushing up.
Interesting. It does give them the opportunity to look for the gank, but the biggest issue with that is usually when you do that, you're looking for the level 2. You're looking to secure level 2 first, and they didn't secure that. So Marion and Edza, they managed to get level 2 first, so they're able to quite freely control the wave as they wish, and it's looking to be frozen a little bit as
A gank in
Cybele
mid
goes
by
to flash.
Trundle.
Ooh. That feels good right there. That feels super good. As the goes in on Paradigm.
Oh, Root is out there. Leona's walking out. Exhaust goes in on Jinx. Misses the Leona. Now there's a flash forward from Leona. Jinx is running, trying to do damage. Heal comes out, and Senna gets the first blood. And then Swaggy finishes off Marion for the second.
Swaggy playing out of his mind right there. Threw out the Q, looking for the Jinx behind the wall, and instead Jinx just flashed right into it again. Getting those little prediction plays feels absolutely wonderful for Swaggy P right there. Just so good tonight, playing super well. Getting a gank like that, and again,
There's a follow-up gank by Caius in mid. Binding out of Morgana, and Caius just finishes off the rise.
Yeah, he was looking for the happy feet, looking for the phase rush movement speed, didn't quite find it, and instead he gets dropped there. So, a little bit of a turn play in the mid side for Oasis Gaming, and they're saying, we're not giving up, we're not going to drop like we did last time just for free.
Great play so far. Oh, the Thresh Hook comes in on Edza and fling the Zenith Blade. Super
Blade.
clean.
Rin playing super well on this Thresh. It's almost like a, why didn't you give it to him last time? But, you know, last time it was more of a counter matchup, so I respect the play, respect the call either way. Yeah, super good on job on that play. And now we're just, you know, back to square one. Nothing too much. Oh, he lands a
Jinx
great
gets
hook.
hooked.
Oh, but nothing comes out of it. No one else has any ability to follow up on it.
The slow lands onto Leona, and another Zenith Blade gets flayed. Amumu's ganking mid, a black shield from Morg gets out of the bandage toss.
Could they maybe have kept going? I think Amumu had a second charge up, and the black shield, like you said, just been used. Maybe that was another angle for them to keep going. But they, you know, they decide to play it safe. They realize, you know, we don't have flash on the rise, so the Amumu goes too deep. He's kind of in by himself there. So yeah, they play it safe. Let the game just get back to about equalize in terms of map state.
The black shields out of Lost Times have been super on point so far. With the ganks coming in from Caius, they've been shielding the Trundle so Rise can't get the rune prison. And just right there, black shielding just in time to walk out from the bandage toss. I do like what I'm seeing there.
Absolutely. Super nice play from the side of IG. And top side, it's an absolute snore fest because Trinimir doesn't want to do anything. Renekton hasn't gotten a gank or attention, so he can't do anything. Yep. Nothing really to talk about. But one thing I do want to highlight is Savior. You know, he was the one getting 3-0 on the Irelia, but look at this. Paradigm Shift and Rin looking for Marion.
There's a bunch of blue nameplates coming down into bot lane. There comes the pillar. Senna's in a rough spot. She gets Zenith bladed on. She grabs the lantern but gets killed anyways. And the second comes in for Marion.
And you hate to see it. You don't want the Jinx to get fed. And right now, Jinx has got 2 kills. It's not good. It's not looking good for the side of IG off of that. But you know, they've managed to eat. The gold only equalized. Everything's still stable. Nothing too much to worry about. You know, no major CS discrepancies across the board. So it just doesn't feel good to let Jinx get any amount of kills this early into the game.
2 kills, yeah. 2 kills early like that. She's gonna come back with a Noon Quiver, which, to be fair, does just match up the itemization from Senna. Oh my god, a nice hook. Leona's just locked up for days. She is stunning, but they give the kill over to Paradigm Shift.
Yep. With the flash coming through by Rin and the exhaust as well, you know.
Tryndamere hits 6,
a little bit
going
here.
in, gets the slow. They're walking away in top lane.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. He can play this slow, look for a dive. In fact, on Savior with the Amumu coming topside, pushing this massive wave. He just needs to be able to control the wave here. Again, bot side though. Great pillar.
Away from Rin, but the Trundle pillar and the Jinx traps keep him locked up. Gets the hook, but Caius gets the kill. And now Morgana's down here in bot. Paradigm Shift does get the cleanse. Gets rooted by the Morgana ult. Marion gets his 3rd.
Yeah, super good roam from Lost Times right there. And it's like you said, you wanted to see the Morgana roam. They found the roam. They found the opportunity. They dropped some damage down onto Paradigm Shift, forced out the cleanse, and he still died anyway. So super good roam from Lost Times. Absolutely lovely stuff to see. Granted, they lose, you know, a few waves made and some platings, but anything to push this Jinx further ahead of the curve, I say is worth. Now looking at the opposite side of the map, Swaggy P taking a free Rift Herald, absolutely nothing to worry about. Pings go down onto it, so they know he's there, but they can't do anything to stop it. I don't think Leona's trying to maybe contest it, but I don't think it's
coming in. Gonna be there. Gets the Zenith Blade.
Oh!
Gets the steal. There's the Curse of the Sad Mummy to root him in place. Flashes over the wall. Oh, you hate to see it happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I love to see it happen, but
dude, that sucks, man. You flash over the wall, but then your Thresh does the lantern, and it's right there, and then he calls you dummy, and it just hurts your feelings, man. It feels bad. And especially when you lose that early objective, and now they can just push this Renekton, or they can push the Morgana further ahead of the map. and really look to start flexing their advantage that they have. Only about 200 gold, so not too much of an advantage, but that can quickly balloon, as we saw in the last game, from 200 gold to 2,000 or 5,000 quickly.
Amumu's coming in top. Trend gets the slow. There's the Renekton ult pop. The W comes in. Amumu is stunned. The damage is ticking. Trend is hitting.
Oh, no.
Bart gets the kill on Savior, and Swaggy P just walks away.
Swaggy P barely just surviving there, and Caius getting caught out. They know he's here, and he has to fight for his life now.
God, Caius is in trouble, gets slowed, gets the blue smite on Tryndamere.
Managed to hop back
Flash codes over the wall.
Very nice up. Maybe if Ryze had Realm Warped up there, they could have gotten that kill, but there's no reason to force it, right? They had just missed the Mumu bandage toss, so they decide to back off, realize that it's not worth trying to int for if necessary. But yeah, that feels super good for the Tryndamere, right? Getting a kill on the Renekton means that he can start his, quite frankly, tomfoolery a little bit early. I'm not the biggest Tryndamere fan, so this current meta has been a little bit rough on my ban pool. Nonetheless, back to farming, back to square one, back to soul collecting in the bot side for the Thresh and paradigm shift. And we're looking at another Ocean Drake spawning in about a minute. They're looking to set up for that. Very good job from Imperial, I have to say. Their vision control has been generally on point in both these games.
Things are, honestly, it's been looking good. Like, Oasis has had a couple really good plays so far, but for the comp that scales harder from IG, having this 200-300 gold lead right now is fantastic for them.
Yeah, and it's curious because it's one of those things. I just talked about having a 200-300 gold lead for the side of Oasis Maelstrom, and yet somehow they lost that in a few plays and better farming, and it's going to be the solar flare going on.
Leona ult comes in, nice flash from Paradigm to get away from the Zenith Blade. Now Trundle's hooked under the turret. Paradigm Shift gets the kill on Caius. Now here's Leona slowed up. Thresh is in there. A nice bandage toss locks her into place. The Zenith Blade comes out. But double kill for Paradigm Shift.
That's just overforcing. They didn't have to make that play as aggressively as they did. They should just realize that they got the flash out from Paradigm Shift, that they got some abilities out from Rin, and that would have been okay. But instead they walk up just a little bit too far, and Kai'Sa gets caught, and he gets dragged in the turret and killed. And Ezda dies for his jungler sins as well, and then they give over the Drake. So yeah, worst case scenario, about a 2,000 gold lead, and we were just talking about a 200 gold lead, 2,000 ballooning very quickly for the side of IG, and they are just playing a much better game of League of Legends over Oasis Maelstrom.
This Trundle is still so squishy, and they don't seem to have that much awareness of it. He didn't pop his ult in that fight. It's still available, so he didn't get it on Amumu to get those stats. So it's, yeah, that was rough from Caius. Dropping the Herald in mid just because it was about to expire.
This is a little bit of a trade on Swaggy P, but look at the roam from Noble Bark coming down.
Here comes Tryndamere. The bandage toss misses. The root from Tryndamere comes in, and yeah, 1-2 autos, and Caius goes down, and the Herald doesn't get the charge.
Yeah, right here, it just feels like an inevitability. Just the way that they're playing, so calm, so controlled. So they had a few misplays, right? They didn't respect the side of Oasis Maelstrom 100% of the time, but IG is just looking so very calm and controlled going into this game number 2 here. They know how they want to play League, and they know what to do in various situations. They're calling things out. You can tell their comms are very on point, very crispy. And on the opposite side, Oasis Maelstrom, they're just looking a little bit lost in the water.
Yeah, the execution looks just that much cleaner from IG today.
Absolutely, execution is the name of the game. And we don't see Paradigm Shift opting for the Eclipse Senna, which I think is a bit higher performing build for the Senna. Instead going for the Kraken Slayer. It can definitely work. It can definitely do a ton of damage, but it's a lot more dangerous, a lot squishier, and you can run into some issues if the Jinx opts for a Gale Force here.
She's definitely pumping out the damage right now while she's got the item advantage over Marion.
Absolutely, just pumping so much damage into him. And again, Cass is maybe looking for something in the mid lane, but it's not going to come to fruition. So yeah, now the game is back to a relatively even state. About 2 minutes left on this next, or till this next Drake. What are we looking at? What do we want Oasis Maelstrom to do? Ooh, they dropped the ultimate from Ezra.
Yeah, Leona comes through, but the counter comes out. Play the hook. Paradigm Shift gets their 5th kill of the game.
Oh yeah, no matter what you were going to say on what we were looking for them to do, I'm positive it was not that from Oasis Maelstrom. You can't look for those aggressive plays without your jungler on that side of the map, especially if you're going to miss them. It's just not worthwhile investment, not worth your time. And yeah, Cybele, he's just able to play this mid lane however he wants. He doesn't really have to worry about too much in terms coming from this Morgana because, you know, it's just a Morgana. The damage isn't that great, frankly speaking, this early game, especially missing that mythic. So yeah, they're able to pick up a second Rift Hill on top side, it looks like, going over to Swaggy P, where they choose to drop that, maybe in the mid lane just to get some early game control, maybe in a side lane just to try to get some early pressure. We're going to have to see.
And for
Swaggy getting caught out here.
Swaggy gets jumped by the Renekton, who's running him down, has the black shield, but
Can't turn
yeah,
it.
Amumu's just walking away.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, they're gonna drop it mid for that early pressure.
I actually really like that from IG because this unlocks the rise from the mid lane. Like, I really liked how in the early game we saw some roaming from Lost Talons. We saw, Swaggy P going in without the rest of the team. Pops the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Trundle's running out.
Not too much to be done, but Lost Times, what are you doing there, bud? Getting jumped on a little bit. So many ultimates have already come down. I don't think they can look for a kill going further. The Jinx ult does so much damage, but it's not enough, and they're able to take down 2 turrets in quick succession. Now looking for the Drake spawning in 40 seconds. I think you just reset for Swaggy and Paradigm. Yeah, they're gonna call for the reset on those 3. Yeah, can't contest when you have no HP.
Yeah, in the early game, I was saying it looked like Lost Times was down for roaming with Caius. They were going to be making proactive plays, but then it feels like they settled into just a safe sit back and farm kind of play style rather than making plays around the map. And that's just not super getting it done after that.
Absolutely not getting it done at all. And one thing I want to highlight is the differences in performance and coming from Savior. Last time he was able to go 3-0, get a huge advantage over his laner, over Noble Bark there, up until, you know, Noble Bark ended the game. Now it's a complete flip of the story. You know, Noble Bark has been able to get the best of him, and he has been able to be there at objectives, be there for the rotate, got 2 kills. And yeah, it's just a rough side. It's just rough to be playing Savior, watching your team pretty much lose across the map and only contributing 1 death yourself. But now they're
so
doing
importantly going into
Shotty.
this fight, Tryndamere is already there. Okay, they did have teleport advantage from Savior. The bandage toss comes in, Leona flashes out. The snare comes in, Caius is all on his own. Nice play from Rin. Now Tryndamere's on the backline trying to run down this Jinx, but the CC is just way too much. Meanwhile, in the backline, Caius gets the kill Caius gets killed by Cybele. This is just a messy split up fight, and now Rin is running for their life. Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. Cybele's still in on the backline. Lost Times and Marion are trying to dance this out. Dodging the Morgana bindings.
Now that
Zaps come
Swaggy has
through.
respawned here, and Marion has lost to get excited. I don't think they can keep contesting it. They just now got Caius back. And again, that fight was a product of just messy play from the side of Imperial Gaming. They weren't focused, their comms weren't clear in this team fight, and you know, they might look for like they go for the steal.
Ryze's zoning gets hit by the Zenith Blade, the Senna ult comes through. Amumu does take out the dragon, but now they're trying to disengage. Ryze is running out with that phase rush speed. Amumu gets hit by the pillar. Senna is there trying. Amumu flashes the wall, and Swaggy P is walking away.
the only reason that fight was as close as it was that they just weren't able to kill Marion. Super good peeling from Ezda and lost time to keep Noble Bark away from the candy shop that is the Jinx here. They're trying to go for a play on the Paradigm, but immediate cleanse, very good stuff. That's a Captain Jack right there, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, we're going to see the tank Rise build come out. Not sure if it's necessary here, especially since you're sole AP and you have so much bruisers, so many bruisers and tanks in front of you already. I think you just go for a normal Rise build, look to do some damage, and look to really put the hurt on Lost Times and squad. They put up a good fight in that last fight, but it just wasn't enough. Cassis got caught out a little bit too early and got bursted down, got focused down a little bit too much there.
I kind of like the tank Rise build here, just because, as you can see from that last fight, these are going to be long, drawn out, they're endurance tests, these fights. Now Trundle's getting run down by Noble. Alright, walking away.
I don't know.
So I feel like the tank build does better in that situation.
Maybe, but when you're sole AP on a team, you don't have the leeway to be playing for that. Like, you can definitely play for that, but you can't be. It's not an endurance test for you. When you're on the Rise, when you're on the Syndra, when you're sole AP on the team, you have to be going hard in the paint as possible. You're trying to get your summoner spell or your spells out in a rotation, and trying to kill them, right? Trying to go for the tank here is less damage overall, and it's just harder to execute on, I feel like, and you're nuking your team's late game chances, which is exact opposite of what they want to be going for, right? Rise is still a super strong late game carry, but if he goes to tank, he's a lot less strong, relatively speaking, compared to normal Rise.
It definitely hasn't been looking super good in pro play. I'm really curious to see the damage graphs at the end of this, just how the Rise is doing damage-wise, because I've definitely had concerns about how actually good that build is.
Yeah, we see it quite a bit, and I like I said, I think it's a situational pick, and this isn't the situation to pick it. Right now Rise is sitting about a 47.2% win rate across the world in pro play, and I have to think a vast majority of those are the tank Rise setup. About 82% of the time it is the tank Rise setup, so not quite doing the numbers we expect from an OP build, but of course the pros know a little bit more than we do over here, so we're gonna have to see.
There's a Senegang comes out, the slow comes in on Renekton, the slow from Tryndamere comes out too. Thresh is tanking the turret actually, but now Renekton pops the Dominus and is getting out. Senna gets that last Q and takes out Savior.
Yeah, just doing a quick souls check on the Senna, about 47 souls at the moment, getting 35 plus attack damage. That's several long swords worth of damage. That feels so very good. Noble Bark still is the ultimate, just missing the ghost, so he doesn't have too much to worry about getting jumped on there. And now it's a complete.
The gets bound. The black shield prevents the stun. Of course, the sad mummy comes through. Play there. Marion Cross gets the kill on Amumu. Lost Times goes down though. Here comes IG.
And exactly like last time, IG finds the fight and they blow the game open. They have the opportunity to go for Baron off of that. Even with their jungler dying, I think they have more than enough damage. They have more than enough zoning to keep Trundle away from it. But instead, they're going to be playing it safer as Paradigm. Force the cleanse out. But look at Rin on the backside. No, he can't find it. Trundle's right there.
Oh no. Now Rin's in the middle of trouble. Has to flash away.
There. And look, the Drake is spawning in 30 seconds. They have so much mid control, so much vision control. Renekton's on the bot side of the map, and Lost Times just used so much for nothing. It's not looking good for the side of Oasis as they walk into this blind, and they find a great hook onto the Jinx.
Hook onto Marion Cross. Has to flash out, is exhausted, but Tryndamere finds her in the Raptor pit. Now running down Edza.
Oh no.
Paradigm Shift gets their 8th kill.
Yeah, that's the hero play from Rin right there. Oh man, oh man, oh man. That right there is the hook that you want to see. The blind hook finds the perfect target. They pull them in, they get the kills, they get the flash, and now it's starting to look like the beginning of the end for the side of Oasis Maelstrom. The resets are coming out from Imperial. They pick up the Drake, and now they can start this Baron dance and really look to put the pressure on Oasis.
And bounties are actually coming up for Oasis. They have that comeback mechanic.
You know, bounties are cool and all, but who do they have to collect them, right? Like who do they really have to split push? Morgana definitely doesn't split push into Rise or Noble. Renekton doesn't split push into either as well. Trundle maybe he could try
I don't
it.
can't 1v1 anyone at this point.
Yeah. He can maybe run v1 the Rise, especially with the Rise going tank build, but it's rough because he needs to be near the Drake, right? So he can't. He doesn't really have an opportunity to split. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, what do we do? What do we do to collect these bounties across the map? And it's realistically cool. Nothing. Oh, a quick pause coming out from the game. Not quite sure what the reason is. We will get back to you on that. So yeah, 3-0 on the Tryndamere, 8-3 on the Senna. What are we looking at for Imperial? How do we close this game out?
It looks like they can just drag Oasis around the map. I don't think anyone can match the Tryndamere 1-1. So once that champ starts hitting turrets, they've got either Oasis is going to have to send a whole squad of people down to the bottom side of the map, and that frees up IG to take Baron, or Tryndamere just gets to take as much of the base as he wants. It's really a rough situation for
Yeah,
Oasis.
it really does suck to be the Tryndamere, or sorry, not the Tryndamere, to be opposing the Tryndamere in this situation. One thing I just want to highlight is the fact that Tryndamere didn't opt for the whole breaker build that we usually see. Again, didn't do it on the Graves, going for a more traditional split push, kill them real quickly instead of push them across the map type of build from Noble. So yeah, again, doesn't have that whole breaker mechanic, doesn't buff up the waves like he should if he had it. But honestly, when you're 3-0 at this point in the game, it's probably okay.
Morgana gets
run down, lost.
Yeah, gets the slow, pops the ult, and yeah, Noble just walks away and does it again. The bandage toss lands on Edza. There's the hook. The lantern comes out. Paradigm shift is coming in, and just Edza has nowhere to go. And double kill for Paradigm shift.
I mean the kill.
Not see where Jinx died there.
Yeah, just died in the mid lane there. Had absolutely no way of escaping, just left alone to their best bet. But yeah, now that they have those two killed off, they just start the siege up in the mid lane, and it is going to be looking like this. Inhib turret falls before they even get Baron. Noble Bart still has the ultimate, still has Ghost, still has Flash, still can dive this, especially since Lost Time just gets hooked.
Lands on Lost Times. The stopwatch gets popped, but she's so low. Noble Bark gets the kill. Renekton pops the Dominus and is in there, but the Curse of the Sad Mummy locks him in place. Paradigm Shift gets that kill, and here goes an Inhib.
The Inhib goes down, and potentially, honestly, they could look for the in here. You know, as long as Ring keeps finding hooks like that, as long as Noble Bark still has ultimate, this is honestly their game to win. Look at Rise.
They just don't have a minion wave, otherwise they could have finished, I think.
Absolutely. Rise up in the top side, taking that turret, and now they can just start transitioning towards the Baron. Move real quickly once they clear this mid wave, and oh brother, it's worst case scenario for the side of Oasis Maelstrom. 10,000 gold down. How do you come back from this? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, all the bounties in the world might not help this one.
It's one of those things that you just have to say, you know what, we messed up 2 times in a row. Our drafts were a little bit rough. I don't know if we can win this one, guys. So let's try to go up with some dignity. Let's try to make it fun for ourselves, and then they can look for the next series, look to redraft, or sorry, not next series, but next VOD review, right? They look at the draft,
Yep.
they look at the the mistakes they did, and they go back to drawing board with their coach, and then they come back and they put on a real show for us next week. But because right now it has just been the Imperial gaming show, quite frankly. They've run it from the very start, game one, all the way to, game two here, and it's looking like the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like IG is just running it straight down mid. Rise teleporting to keep the pressure up in top lane. But no real reason to do anything else with supers and Baron buff.
Absolutely. They can play this game as slow as they want. Trundle trying to match Noble Bark.
Oh
I
my
don't think
god.
he has the opportunity.
The damage from Paradigm Shift.
No.
Lost Times just has nowhere to go. They've got Leona's sitting on top of center trying to take the attention, but Cybold gets the kill. Savior's down. Caius is running around trying to do something, flashes forward and just gets stunned. Lulu's taking damage, but here's Jinx firing rockets. She gets away with 60 health.
Just no damage across the board, and that looks like it will be the game, ladies and gents. Swaggy P and Imperial Gaming look to close this one out.
Oh my god.
GG's coming out. Another great hook from Rin, and that will be the game. Imperial Gaming 2-0 their opponent in Oasis Maelstrom. Oh, brother, what a game.
Absolute, like, laser targeted hooks from Rin all game. That was... What a performance from the Thresh.
Absolutely. It was just complete dominance from minute one, quite frankly. They knew what they wanted to do. They came in, they played out their game, and it honestly just looked like an LCK team versus, a random NA team. It looked like T1 versus Golden Guardians, quite frankly. It was that rough. It wasn't close. And it sucks to see. It really does, That means in the standings, Oasis Maelstrom will drop to 1-1, I think. They're gonna have to come back after next week, VOD review, look at some things, look at their draft, look at their champ pools, and try to put on a better showing for us next week. Imperial Gaming, keep up what you've been doing. Really clean stuff. I really like what I saw.
Yeah, just refining what they're doing and keep on keeping on. Not a ton of notes for IG. There were some scrappy fights early. They got roamed on by Caius and Lost Times. But that was more Oasis playing good than IG doing anything bad there.
Absolutely.
Just really clean play, really strong showing from IG, I think.
It was such a strong showing. It was absolute dominance, like I said, from minute one. But yeah, with that, we will wrap up Blue Otter 2's cast of Imperial Gaming versus Oasis Maelstrom. If you're just joining us for some unfortunate reason, Imperial Gaming won it 2-0 in a very dominant showing over Oasis Maelstrom. I've been your caster, Marlant, joined today by Jeeves. Jeeves, thank you so very much.
Yeah. Thanks, folks. Have a good night.